Hi, it's Steve. Today we're going to show you how to change the temperature control on your refrigerator, and it's a really easy job. All we're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver, a 1/4-inch nut driver, and a pair of needle nose pliers. Let me show you how we do it. Now before we begin this repair, the first thing we'll need to do is to disconnect the power. So pull the refrigerator far enough forward that we can unplug it. And you may want to remove some of the items that are on the upper shelf. Well, next we'll locate a 1/4-inch hex head screw, which is just in the center at the back of the control housing. So we're going to remove that. We'll set that screw aside. Now next we'll push the whole control assembly towards the back of the refrigerator. Now just lower that whole control assembly down. And this is our temperature control on the left side here. So we'll start by removing that ground wire. It may still be attached to the ceiling or it may not be. We'll also take our needle nose pliers and just remove the 2 wire terminals on the end of the control. We'll also pop that control knob off, set that aside, and then remove the 2 Phillips screws that secure the control to the housing. And then lift the control straight up, and then we'll pull that capillary tube out of this plastic sheath at the back. Now we'll take the new control and we'll just carefully unwind that capillary tube. Now the length on it may be longer than your original control, so we'll need to take up the excess without kinking it. So we'll compare the 2 controls and determine where we need to make our bends. And we'll insert the end of it fully into that tube, and then while holding it in place we'll reinstall the screws and tighten both of those securely. Now we'll need to make sure that we have that capillary tube away from the wire terminals, so you can wrap that down around the control body itself. We need to make sure that we have enough length into that sheath. And again, we want to avoid making any sharp bends in that capillary tube. And then reinstall the wires to the terminals. Make sure they're fully pressed onto the terminals, as well as the ground wire. And then replace the knob. You'll note that there is a small opening that fits on one side of that and a larger slot on the opposite side. Now we can put the controls back up onto the ceiling. Now you may wish to just slightly dislodge that sheath for the capillary tube. That will allow us to gain a little bit of flexibility in fitting it into the keyhole opening on the ceiling. Then line up the front sure that we get these 2 plastic tabs fitted into the openings. Slide everything forward, pull that sheath down into the housing, and then we can reinstall the mounting screw. So we'll tighten that screw to secure it. We're now ready to reconnect the power, and our repair is complete.